Prosecutors preparing to make their case for why a former Tennessee House Speaker and his longtime aide belong in federal prison. And it's bringing together a fascinating cast of characters. Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. The federal public corruption trial for Glen Casada and Cade Cothren kicked off today with jury selection. This was the scene this morning as former House Speaker Glen Casada arrived at the federal courthouse with his wife and attorneys. Just minutes earlier, his former aide, Cade Cothren, arrived with his lawyer.
News Channel 5 will be there as this case unfolds, and we begin this hour with our chief investigative reporter Phil Williams and a look at some of the major players as Capitol Hill goes on trial. Phil.
And we are watching closely because we expect the trial will be one of those rare events where politicians will be put under oath, forced to answer some tough questions about how Tennessee's Capitol Hill really works. And it brings together a cast of characters, including the judge himself, who understand the system better than anyone.
Speaker, what did you tell the caucus?
6 years after Glen Casada's downfall as Tennessee's House Speaker following a text messaging scandal uncovered by News Channel 5 Investigates, the corruption trial of Casada and former aide Cade Cothren brings together a cast of characters who know the ins and outs of Tennessee politics better than anyone.
Could this lead to Governor Sundquist?
The judge, former federal prosecutor Eli Richardson, prosecuted associates of former Governor Don Sundquist 20 years ago. Judge Richardson served in key positions within the U.S. Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney's offices in New Jersey and Nashville, as well as the FBI. He was nominated by President Trump in 2017, confirmed in 2018.
What are the taxpayers supposed to think about this, Ms. Smith?
The government's key witness is expected to be former state representative Robin Smith from Hamilton County. Smith previously pleaded guilty to one count of wire fraud stemming from her role in the scheme. A former state chair of the Tennessee Republican Party, she was twice elected to the state legislature, resigning in the middle of her second term after her guilty plea.
Mr. Speaker, how are you? You know what to expect today?
We'll find out soon enough.
And like the parade of high-profile legislators we saw trekking before a federal grand jury 3 years ago, the trial is expected to include some of the biggest names in the House Republican caucus. The current House Speaker, Cameron Sexton, has indicated he will be a witness for the prosecution. Sexton was elected Speaker following Casada's downfall in 2019. The Crossville Republican has been reelected to the House's top post 3 times since then. He's now in his 8th term in the state legislature. And that's where this case could get messy. Speaker Sexton will be a witness for the prosecution, but there have been hints that Cade Cothren in particular would like to bring out what he sees as potential dirt about the current speaker in order to help his own case. And Rory, we're learning that Casada was offered a plea deal in this case.
That is right. Our Chris Davis, following this trial at the courthouse for day one, Phil, he learned that while Casada was offered a plea deal, his former aide wasn't. Chris now walks us through the first day in the courtroom and what comes next.
The two men walked in silently to the courthouse as they face 20 federal charges. Anything you'd like to say, Mr. Casada? They're accused of setting up a kickback scheme that involved providing mailing services for members of the Tennessee House Republican Caucus and making money off of it, but concealing that they were the ones behind it. Federal courthouses do not allow cameras inside the building, but News Channel 5 has employed a sketch artist, Paul Collins. We learned this morning in court that Glen Casada was offered a plea deal but declined it. Judge Eli Richardson asked, "Did you decide not to take the offer?" Casada replied, "Yes, Your Honor." A plea deal was not mentioned for Cothren. The rest of the day focused on whittling down a jury pool of 40 people down to 12 men and women who don't have preconceived opinions or biases about this case. The courtroom didn't have enough room for the jury pool and the gallery, so members of the media had to watch on a monitor in an overflow courtroom. Of course, that jury selection process is a lengthy ordeal, and it didn't get completed today. It is expected to continue tomorrow, and then we could expect to see opening statements. At the courthouse with photojournalist Justice Kennedy, Chris Davis, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Chris. And Chris will be back at the courthouse tomorrow. We're going to keep you updated every step of the way as to what happens.